Hey guys, welcome back to World of Warships. Today we're taking a look at the West Virginia 44 in Tier 7 ranked. We're gonna have some fun today. This ship is borderline overpowered in this game mode. This ship has incredible power to carry ranked games. It's a lot of fun if you're interested in secondary brawling battleships. The West Virginia 44 is similar to Massachusetts, Georgia, and Ohio if you haven't seen this thing before, in that it has very accurate secondaries and a heal that has a reload of 40 seconds. This allows you to do really good damage with your secondaries, and at closer ranges you can heal for so much HP, much quicker than a lot of other battleships can. Even though we're going to take quite a bit of damage here, given that Tier 7 is the overmatch tier where all the battleships just overmatch each other, we can heal it back much quicker, and combined with our secondaries, we should be getting much more damage into the opponents. Although Sinop is a very scary target to deal with, easily overmatching us everywhere, and with very powerful guns. Also Sinop, well known for having some relatively strong armor when angled. So we're not going to get nearly as much damage out of these secondaries as I'd like. We'll see a little bit later in this video, we are running IFHE on these secondaries, allowing them to pen 26 millimeters of armor. I would not recommend IFHE on any of the other American premium secondary battleships, because that 26 millimeters of armor is only important at Tier 7 and below, because that is going to be the battleship armor threshold. As soon as we get to Tier 8, of course it goes up to 32 millimeters, and IFHE is not going to help you there. It's only going to hurt, taking up 2 points and cutting your fire chance in half. So given that we've got 3 fires already out of these secondaries, it's not too bad, since they have massively reduced fire chance. Sinov gets another pretty big hit in, although not as much as before. Certainly 10k is fine, even though it's a lot of damage to take. It's alright, we can get to our next heal that quickly. I love this thing at Tier 7. It was such a great ship to give away. I mean, maybe that's not the right word, but in the Wisconsin dockyard as the middle path or midpoint on the battle pass there. It's essentially a battle pass, but the dockyard giving you this ship is really, really cool. So I'm glad that Tier 7 ranked exists to let this ship shine. Look at that accuracy, man. Our secondaries are just going to do most of the damage to this bliss. And importantly, West Virginia 44 actually has a better reload on these secondaries than the Massachusetts does. So even though we're missing out on 1 secondary turret per side, our DPM isn't too bad. And I really, really think the IFHE here is very powerful. And you're going to see that in a second, once we're dealing with the enemy West Virginia 44. I'm in fact not even going to shoot my guns, because I want to use this smoke to spam these secondaries into the enemy West Virginia 44. And look at how much damage we're going to do to this guy here. Just ridiculous. This is probably my best game as far as the secondary damage is concerned in the games that I have to show for you here. This one was absolutely ridiculous. The accuracy and then just the pure damage output. Sometimes we're getting upwards of 1,000, 2,000 damage if all of these shells land on a point of the ship where we can actually pen. And just looking at this secondary hitting DPM chart, I'm actually shocked. I don't think I've ever looked at this before for West Virginia 44. I was under the assumption that the improved reload sort of made up for the extra turret, but didn't quite. But it does more than that. It's actually the best secondary hitting DPM out of any American battleship. That's kind of crazy. At 9 kilometers, the hitting DPM for the West Virginia 44 is 53,600. And Ohio is only 50,000. Massachusetts down there at 43,000. Over 10k more on the West Virginia 44. That's insane. Okay, yeah, no wonder these secondaries feel so powerful. My goodness, that's ridiculous. And we can see that there with our secondary hit count. Over 400 in just this ranked game alone. Now I'm going to mess up here a couple times. I haven't played West Virginia 44 for a little bit. And we're going to ground in front of an enemy West Virginia 44. We got to hope he doesn't quite kill us there, thankfully. And then we do manage to take him out. 2 battleships versus a DD. not always going to be that the two battleships win that, and if we take a couple torpedoes from this Sims, we could go down. This could end poorly, and certainly the map control is a great way for destroyers to win games. And I'm pretty bad at maneuvering right now because we're actually going to ground again. And that's actually going to be a blessing, since the Sims is going to have torped this corner, and I am going to dodge it. I mean, it was calculated. It was calculated, right? It was all skill. No, we get lucky sometimes too. 165, 3 kills. Main guns should finish this guy off. 4 kills. Close quarters expert. Wow, these secondary turrets have better reaction time than I do. Feels good, man. What an insane match in this ship. I got more for you, though. I've got plenty more if you've seen the length of this video. I've been having a blast playing this ship in ranked. If you've got it, enjoy. Enjoy this ranked season. It is so much fun. If you don't have it, though, there's plenty of other fun secondary brawling ships at this tier. If you got the Christmas ship, the Secondaries 43, that's a great option. Regular Secondaries can work, too. There's plenty of fun to be had. Synop is also an excellent option if you're not as interested in the secondaries and just want the absolute punching power of some of the best guns at the tier. And also one of the tankiest. Now this game I'm showing you not because I'm doing a lot of damage, because my team is dev striking everyone. Everyone is getting dev struck on the enemy team. So there goes that Sharn 43 from our shores pushing. Our Sharn 43 gets their Atlanta in a dev strike. The first kill was also a dev strike, scrolling up here. All 4 kills were dev strikes. Yeah, good teams happen, guys. They can happen. I was shocked. So I die here, but my team is more than good enough to win this game. I don't think I've ever seen this happen in ranked, though. I've been playing a while for this game, and I've never had a team like this. Especially one where I do so poorly. I got farmed for free this game and did almost nothing. Good work, team. We take those, right? Moving on. Synop broadside. That's a pain point of Synop, is it's got a very exposed citadel. West Virginia 44, well, mostly secondary build. The main guns are pretty potent. Unfortunately, no citadels there. I actually do have a game to show you guys where most of our damage, if not like 90-95% of it, was our main guns and not secondaries. So we will have that as an option as well. But for now, we're just going to push in both sides action with these secondaries, focusing on the Indianapolis here, since our secondaries are going to do some good full pan damage as well as our main guns. Hopefully going to do some big hits. Angled Synop, not going to take nearly as much damage. And I'm just going to send it in. I'm hoping my Secondaries 43 is going to come with me. Typically, that's what they end up doing in ranked. Whenever you see one, they're always popping that speed boost and full sending right away. So I'm going to act on that and hope that happens. Taking out the Indianapolis here would be great to deal with some of the DPM coming in. We're going to be broadside to a Ignize now, as well as the Synop just easily overmatching us, even if we angle to him. But our secondaries can shoot at both of them. So trying to get some fires relit on this Synop. French battleships Russian battleships. I don't know why I was thinking French battleships. They're not even in this match. All right, I guess I'm tired today. I'm not losing my mind, okay? Okay, it's not I'm not losing my head. Our teammates, there we go. Look at that, Sharnor's going with us. The Russian battleships have fast-acting damage controls. That's going to be the point I'm trying to make, where getting fires on them is less valuable. It's one of the main tanking abilities of those French. I did it again. I did it again. What is going on today? How many times have I done this without me catching it? I wonder. Russian battleships can tank very well thanks to that fast reloading, fast acting damage control. It's kind of the opposite of the American secondary battleships that have this 40-second cooldown on the heal. It's really cool, although the limited damage controls can be a bit of a pain point, although ranked is so short oftentimes that that's not really going to matter as much. That's why the Russian battleships, did it right this time, Russian battleships can be so good in these ranked game modes. We're on fire. New Orleans maybe turning his turrets to finish us off here. And with some good teammates, maybe we can finish this guy off. Or if we get some citadels, you never know. Over 100k here, mostly from those secondary hits, I gotta say. That's an overpen, not a Citadel. High caliber, though. We were so close to it. He hits us. 500, 300 HP, 100, 34 HP. Not even close. Not even close. Some might even say calculated. Next game. This one is the main guns game, where our secondaries actually aren't going to do much. I'm trying to put myself in positions where the secondaries can do some work, but in this case, they're just not. Our main guns are going to do some great damage, as well as the enemy team playing just outside of them. So that's going to be a bit of the downside here relative to Massachusetts, Ohio, and Georgia. Those ships all get 11.3 kilometer secondary range. This one is 9.5, I think. So not bad, but certainly not as powerful as that 11.3 is at tier 8 and above. Although against its competition, the IFHE and the more DPM certainly make up for that. I'm a little worried about the Z39 crossing this gap and torping us, going to the C cap, since B cap is rather obviously stalled at this point. So I'm actually going to turn away here. I'm a little worried about that torpedo threat. Although it turns out I probably shouldn't be. I should have noticed maybe some of the guns being fired from the middle of B cap. And in fact, there's the Z39 spotted. But I've already started my maneuver. And West Virginia 44 is kind of clumsy, I gotta say. Even though it can accelerate and turn relatively short, it takes forever to slow down. So I'm going to start slowing down here, trying not to push around this gap and eat all the torpedoes. But it's going to take us a while to slow down. Enemy Grom caught within secondary range, and this accuracy and DPM, it's nasty for destroyers. Like, there's not much you can do as a DD other than just go dark and get outside of 9.5 kilometers range. Here we're going to get a few hits. Yeah, 2 out of 4 from the main guns. We take that into a DD for sure. And rear guns, maybe even finishing them off. Not quite, but another 2 out of 4. So we hit half our shells into a DD. That is very, very solid damage. There it is. The secondaries coming in clutch, getting us a kill. And a little bit of damage there, but again, reversing. It's so slow to start reversing. To be fair, though, I am not taking the propulsion mod right now. We'll look at the build after the game, of course, but I'm not actually running propulsion mod, as I'm a little bit more interested in some of the fire reduction effects at the moment. I kind of flip-flop back and forth between all these different builds, so just know that at any given time, I could always be changing the builds around on these ships, but I'd like to show you what I'm running in the games that I'm showing you guys. We do get a Citadel. Bit of a pity Citadel in on that Jumfon. I'm probably not pronouncing that correctly, but 3k damage and the black ribbons, we will take it. Very nice damage into that Heinrich, though. That was really, really solid. Colorado coming around the corner. Maybe I'm getting a little too greedy here, opening myself up to take, yeah, actually not too much damage. I'm surprised Colorado didn't do more there. Colorado's a little bit outclassed in this, I will say. He has much better accuracy on his guns than ours, but that doesn't really make up for the secondaries, as well as the heal difference, right? This fast-acting, fast cooldown heal is so valuable in these ranked situations. 35 seconds, we'll get to another one. And Prince Heinrich, though, might take us out. We got to be a little bit careful. Only 19 secondary hits in this game, and still we're on 75k, soon to be a little more. Back turret, best turret, as we like to say. Indeed. One hit, and it's a Citadel. It's about as good as we can get for one hit. And our teammates actually ended up finishing off that guy, and not much happened in the rest of that game. But hey, nearly 100k. Got up over a little bit over 100k there, and it was mostly the main guns, which is not always what I was seeing out of this ship. So that felt good. Moving on to our last game. Thank you for watching all the way through to this last game. This one's actually the best one. The closest, most interesting match. So if you're still here, I appreciate you, and here's your reward with the best game. This is very unlikely, and I wish it happened more, but this game is going to come down to the wire, and both teams will have many chances to win. No blowout in this one, and that's always going to be the best situation, where the game is at its most fun. Also, our team is full sending in, the enemy team is full sending in. I mean, what more can you ask for, really, right? I couldn't ask for much better than this, I gotta be honest with you. Maybe if my main guns would perform a little bit better. We'll see that in a little bit, though, not to spoil too much. But our secondaries on the Mayhan, right? We want that damage into destroyers. We want to get that early DD engagement dealt with. Well, our DD's not engaging, but taking the B cap there was very valuable early. And if we can have that destroyer advantage, that's going to be extremely valuable in the long run. We lose our Fiji, but they lose a Sharn Horse 43. So 1-1 at this point. We both have a cap, very, very close. And we're kind of pincering this enemy push into the A cap here. This is a very powerful situation to be in. We just got to make sure we don't overcommit into a Sharn Horse 43, which, as a reminder, has 45-second reload on its torpedoes, which is terrifying at close range. That's only a little bit longer than a Vermont reload, and torps are insane at close range like this. Decent hit, actually pretty good, a little over 10k there into that Sharn Horse. I will gladly take that. Our early damage here is excellent. Secondary still on the Sharn Horse, but as soon as I'm going to see a DD or a light cruiser, that's really what I want to focus on, unless the Sharn Horse gets to really low health. We get close enough, or our teammates rather, get close enough to spot the Mayhem trying to leave. He didn't quite have the time to get out of the cap, and that's one of the cool parts about this map. I was talking about this on stream while playing, is this is one of the most interesting maps that is in the ranked pool right now. I'm always super excited to play this one, and I'm not sure if that's because I just never see it playing so much high tier, or if it's because it's a cool map. I really like this cove design and that people push into it. It's such a fun place to brawl. I think it's a really, really unique area, and the other side of the map's not bad either, to be honest. Given that it's a diagonal map, there's not a lot of opportunity to camp spawn or farm from spawn all that easily, and I think it's a really, really well-designed map. And low tier is often a little more fun too, just because the ranges are a little closer. We don't have as much damage at long range. But in this case, it is tough for a destroyer to try and leave a situation like the A cap there. And, well, we might take some big damage to this Rook here. Although Rook, very vulnerable Citadel. And, yeah, we're not quite going to get that shot, unfortunately. Don't take too much in return, thankfully, but not able to get our front turrets online. We're left in a 3v4. Now, you might be wondering, how did our destroyer die? There was only a Sharn Horse 43 there. Well, you notice where his icon is. Yeah, rushing a Sharn Horse 43 is maybe not advised. It's got some strong secondaries, as well as those torpedoes. Atlanta, well angled, is typically where you want to shoot, because Atlanta's a light cruiser, a very small one. You're often just going to overpen. Unfortunately, we do only get those overpens this time, and hopefully our Nelson, though, can push around without dying, but still taking out that Atlanta. That would be huge for our team here. Notice the Lazo has gone and captured C and is now getting cross shots on me over an island. We got to be very careful of that. So in the future here, I'm going to push towards the enemy's side of the B cap so that the Lazo does not have angles on me. Also, getting closer to these islands means that the Atlanta has a tougher time shooting over them. Perhaps flanking around here to surprise the Rook if he continues to reverse away from our Nelson. Those are kind of the ideas going through my mind right now. And I want to get cross shots. I want to help out our Nelson, since our Nelson is rather low. I think looking back on this game, there's an argument to be made that I should have capped A and then supported Nelson from down south. But the caps aren't ticking for too much at this point, and I'm hoping here that I can prevent the Atlanta from crossing over to farm our Nelson, as well as maybe go support our Flint against a Lazo. Don't shoot the broadside Atlanta. It's bait, guys. Wait for it to be angled, okay? We're guaranteed to just overpen when it's broadside. Wait for the angle. Here we go. And this is how you can get overpens. This is how you still get overpens. These are the situations where maybe I would have liked my guns to perform just a little bit better. But I had to include some games where it was purely the gun damage. This ship can do insane things with its guns. Very RNG based, that's how battleships go. But we have the secondary power. It's kind of Atlanta versus Atlanta guns, to be honest with you. These secondaries are very good, and also, like the Atlanta turrets, are very strong at farming battleships down. That Atlanta had IFHE, obviously, did quite a bit of damage to us. We avoid the torps. Nelson unfortunately goes down to the Rook. And if I had been down there, it's possible I could have helped there, maybe helped him live. But in this case, the caps aren't ticking for nearly enough, so I didn't think that as good. I was very worried about the Lazo flank at this point. Rook is rather far out of this engagement, so if we can, in these later game scenarios, help out our teammates, get a 2v1 here, isolate that, and try and win it, that is going to be massive. Our Flint with the amazing AP volleys. When was the last time you saw a Flint or an Atlanta spamming AP and getting, I believe, Citadels? Very impressive, very impressive. We won this game a lot thanks to that Flint player. He's doing very, very well, helping us out. We take a big hit from the Rook, although we should be able to overmatch him back. And ideally, we're getting some spotting now for our teammate. This is really, really valuable here. Although I don't want to die. I don't want to leave him in a 1v1, so I will get behind this island after getting my shot. Very good overmatch damage. And guess what? Plane spotting exists. Certainly would be nice if plane spotting were removed. I'm sure this Rook would be feeling the same way in this game in particular, because now our Flint just gets to free farm, right? I'm providing that utility, that spotting, without dying right now. Very, very valuable. Now he's got a choice to make. Does he just sit in B and hope for the points to tick? But the Flint's probably just going to farm him out if that's the case. Or does he push into a 2v1? Very, very difficult choice to make, and our Flint's doing a lot of damage. I mean, those Atlanta Flint guns are... I mean, that's why we're running IFHE on these secondaries as well. It's so strong at tier 7. Do we get the yoink? No, we don't. Our Flint does get the kill. Honestly, well deserved for him to get the kill. I'm very happy with that. We won that game somehow. Very, very, very close match. You love to see it. You hate to see the broadside Atlantas not taking anything but overpens. But other than that, that was an absolute blast of a game. And Flint rightfully top score. Well done. How much damage was our secondaries in this game, though? I actually kind of forget. 40k. Almost half and half, actually. Well, maybe that's about reasonable, I suppose. But that's going to be all the games that I have for you today. Let's take a look at the build I was running. Still really has not changed at all on this ship. It is a secondary powerhouse here. So IFHE, like I said, giving us that extra pen is just extremely important. 26 millimeters of pen on those secondary guns. The accuracy, the DPM, all very valuable at this tier because, yeah, it's just 26 everywhere you look. Maybe not quite everywhere, but most everywhere on 90% of the battleships at this tier that you're going to be fighting. So a very, very powerful skill to take. Otherwise, I kind of miss the turret traverse. I'm not going to lie. These turrets turn very, very slowly. I suppose the secondaries are your fast reaction times to flanking ships. Although, not always the best to be reliant on that. In this case, though, typically it's going to work out. Secondary build, though, of course, still running Adrenaline Rush. And then I'm using Emergency Repair Expert as well as Fire Prevention. No concealment here. It's a ranked specific build. We're pushing in. We're likely not going to make use of concealment ever, really. Maybe at the very beginning of the match, but even then, we're still just pushing in and going to get spotted anyway. So that's why I'm not taking that. Preventive maintenance to help keep those secondaries alive can help, but concealment's much better in things like random battles. For ranked brawls, typically not as valuable for a ship like this one that wants to push in. Upgrade-wise, I'm running Damage Control System Mod 2 here. I'm not sure if that's correct. Sorry, it's steering gears. This ship actually has the improved acceleration like the Vermont got, I guess. So it's either steering gears or damage control. Wow, it slows down so slowly then. Huh. Well, I was wrong in the game, but yeah, it takes a while for this ship to slow down, so be a little bit careful of that when playing around islands. Obviously, running secondary build here. There's no main gun upgrades that you would take. Turret traverse, there's no accuracy upgrade here, so I would say you just run the secondaries and use that as your almost primary damage output in some cases. Auxiliary armaments here as well to help keep those secondaries alive. It's a very fun, very, very good ship, and as you can see here with this update, we have it in the armory for doubloons. So if you do want it, I mean, this is quite the price to spend on it. Keep in mind, Black Friday is coming up, and this is more expensive than Tier 8 premiums. If you're wanting a Massachusetts, for example, it will be cheaper than this in a couple months on Black Friday. So something to consider. But hey, if you got discount coupons or you're just really wanting this one for Tier 7 ranked, since that seems to be offered more often, it's pretty good. And being top tier in ranked is much better than being bottom tier in ranked, considering these 6-7 and 8-9 splits we're often seeing. Massachusetts can still do well against Tier 9s, but being that top tier threat is kind of nice as well. So that's going to do it for today's video on the West Virginia 44. Just having a blast brawling it out in ranked. I hope you enjoyed. Thank you very much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.